I'm shocked so far. I'm not having to do anything crazy.
Is that you? Is it?
Welcome everybody to another 12 o'clock show with Mayor Joe. And we have a jam-packed show today. Not one, not two, but three guests are joining us today. So I'd like to welcome our two that are joining us via Zoom. We have Franklin County Treasurer Cheryl Brooks Sullivan. Welcome. Thank you so much. We also have the Reynoldsburg Chamber of Commerce Co-President Rick Wagner. Thank you for being here. And joining live and in person is Miss Susan Bradford from Theosin Institute of West African Dance, and she's coming in right now. Come on in. She was in the green room getting refreshments and all of that type of thing. So welcome everyone. Thank you so much for taking the time to be here today.
Thank you, Mayor.
So we're going to hop right in and start off with some questions for our treasurer from Franklin County. First of all, thank you again for coming here. The reality is I'm betting most of the people watching have no idea what you do as Franklin County Treasurer. So if you want to give everybody kind of an idea of what the Franklin County Treasurer does, I think that would be a big help.
Well, thank you. Thank you for the introduction, and thank you for having me on the show, Mayor Joe. Residents of Reynoldsburg and the other guests, how are you, Susan?
Nice.
Good to see you. So what do we do here? We have three major thrusts that we provide from the Treasurer's Office. Everybody pretty much recognizes that we collect taxes, and that's the one thing that you might be least attracted to in what we do here. We also bank and invest, and we're also a bit of a collection agency because of the nature of collection itself. So those are our three major divisions that we operate from.
All right, well, we'll ignore the taxing part because I'm pretty sure that that's not anything anybody wants to talk about. Now, are you all back fully staffed from COVID, and how did your office deal with, I mean, the craziness of the last year? Because last January, the world was one place, and by March, it was something different. How have you and your staff kind of dealt with it and kind of found the advantages and the joy of what the situation brought out for you?
So I need to say immediately, my staff was amazing. We had to work under, as everybody, we had to work under unprecedented circumstances, in situations, things that we wouldn't have imagined. I saw on a meme on social media, if someone were asked 5 years ago, were they expected to see themselves in 5 years, everybody would have failed. We did not see this coming. And the team, without complaint, without pressure or resistance, fell right into everything that was an opportunity for us to continue business as, I don't want to say usual, but that would be the exact opposite of what we conducted business as. So we sent home as much staff as possible. About 80% of staff, we let them work remote. But there's one of the functions, as we do provide the banking for the county, many of the entities that we bank for are other county agencies. And throughout the pandemic, those agencies continue to bring in cash. So we had to be here on site to do what we call pay-ins. So there was one department and myself, my chief deputy and my executive assistant, we worked in the office throughout the pandemic. The county building was closed to the general public, so we didn't feel at any excessive high risk because everybody was not coming in and out of the building. And of course, we were still masking and doing everything we were supposed to. I brought the remainder of the staff back in time for the January first half collection. I thought there might have been opportunity to send them home again prior to the second collection, but things started turning around finally. So we've pretty much ridden it out since the beginning of the year till now.
It's definitely been an adjustment for everybody, just because of going from meeting people and seeing people and dealing with people in person to now, whether it's emails or Zoom calls. I really expect this Halloween, one of the, costume that's going to be out there, somebody's going to have like a Zoom background or something like that as they're walking around. I love the cat, by the way. That was fine. That was a great guest. So what are some of your office challenges that your office faces on a year-to-year basis? What are some of the big obstacles or some of the big initiatives that you're looking to continue on in your office?
So let's see, obstacles that we face. It's always technology. Technology, as soon as we need it the most, fails us. We have increased our opportunity for taxpayers to pay online, for instance, so that less people have to come into the building, into downtown. Even pre-pandemic, coming into downtown Columbus for some people is just traumatic. They just trying to find the parking and finding your way through the building. And of course, at our two peak times of year with the second and half collection, it just, something goes wrong. We've had, as with everybody else, the mail went through its transition, adapting to all of the challenges within the pandemic. And because many people do mail in payments, that was a huge problem over the last year. Being able to let people know, because as soon as they put it in the box, they start calling us, have you got it yet? Have you got it yet? And it was a long time before we got some of them. I know I sent out holiday cards right around Thanksgiving, and there were people still getting them around Easter. So things were a little wacky. Now, in terms of initiatives, one of the initiatives that we are bringing to the forefront, and we began this back in 2017, not even knowing what was coming next, but we've been working on attempting to help homeowners retain home ownership. We have a percent of taxpayers who no longer have a mortgage. They own their home outright, yet way too many people were losing their homes to foreclosure just because they couldn't pay the property taxes. So we have been structuring an initiative to just help those households stabilize, not just get the taxes paid, but to help the households stabilize so they don't have the same issue every year, coming into this same collection time. We want people to be comfortable, safe, healthy, and rooted and grounded in knowing that their home is theirs and that they can afford it and they can comfortably live there. So that's one of our newest initiatives.
I mean, that was important, like you said, prior to COVID. Now, especially with, people's, job insecurities, losing positions, losing hours, that kind of that security of knowing that you have a place to live has got to be huge. And we have a certain population in our community who own their own homes that, have lived in Reynoldsburg for, 30, 40, 50 years. And I know that's always a concern. I will say for everyone out there, when it comes to property taxes, she's not the one that's raising property taxes. So that's a whole different thing. And she's also not the one charging the school districts to run based off property taxes. That's another thing. You knew I was going to bring up school funding at some point. That's just a thing that I always do. But so if let's say that somebody has a question for you or your office, what are the best ways, the most efficient ways to get in contact with you if they have a question, a concern, or if they see, because I believe for those people that still get this thing called a newspaper, I don't know if anybody's heard of that, they have a listing of unclaimed funds as well. If somebody sees that, what's the best way to get in contact with you to get that information?
So the quickest way is to call us during office hours. For people who can use internet and do have internet access, I think it's best to email us because our reply then is in writing. You don't have to take notes. You have all of the information. It's already documented for you. And it's just an easier way, I think, for taxpayers to reference that information because generally people who call aren't going to absorb everything we tell them as we're telling them. So I think email is probably the safest. But we have excellent customer service representatives here. Every day I get letters and phone calls from people just so impressed with how much time they will take with everyone and to the extent they will go to make sure that the individual, the constituent on the phone understands gets all of their answers. So email, phone, and website. We do have a website. I think, though, that the answers on the website are fairly abbreviated. And if you didn't understand prior to reading it, you may not be any clearer after. And it's best to call. And the number is 614-525-3038. Is that 3438 for customer service? 614-525-3438.
Well, I appreciate that. I also appreciate your staff. Bob was very helpful in getting everything set up and coordinating for you to be here. I know you had a wedding to go to with one of our previous scheduled things, so I hope that was a fabulous occurrence.
No. There was a wedding at my house.
Oh, wow. I didn't get that kind of well.
I believed it was coming up on May 28th. And once I was clear, no, it's May 21st, I lost a whole week in preparation. And yet it became like an emergency situation. I live on 5 acres and they wanted to have an outdoor wedding. Susan, you know him, Ani.
Oh, yes.
Ani and Lily were married at my house.
Okay, great.
And I had only had what I thought a 3-week preparation. And then I found out I had it off by a whole week. So yeah, I got a little crazy for a minute. So thank you so much for allowing me a different date. I appreciate that.
No, it's been great. I also wanted to make sure you're aware, and I know she's going to talk about it in a little bit. Reynoldsburg is actually having its 2nd annual Juneteenth celebration this Saturday. I know it's been out there. I know you're friends with a number of the members of council, and Councilwoman Meredith Lawson-Rowe has done a fabulous job. So if you have 5-10 minutes to spare to come out and see everything, that would be an amazing thing. I know we do have one question for you, I believe, if you have just a moment. My assistant can read it.
All right, it's 3 questions all in one. And the first part of it is, what is your most proud accomplishment in your role? And what is your biggest challenge other than COVID, which you kind of addressed on a little bit? And what would you like your legacy to be?
Let's see, my proudest moment has been in the ability to further diversify the staff than it was when I arrived. And to be able to put individuals into positions where they can make a living wage, have comfortable working conditions, and just live a better life as a result of stable, secure employment. If I eat, I want everybody to eat. And that's kind of how I go about life in general. And it's just been wonderful watching the family grow here. We kept all the staff that wanted to stay, and that was probably 99%. I have people who have been here 30, 31 years, and I have people who have been here a matter of weeks. And I have millennials. I have a gentleman who took his oath to become an American citizen during the time that he worked here. We cover every spectrum that you could think of here. And it's just a very collective, diverse, and inclusive family environment. So that's probably the thing that I'm most proud of. Could you give me part 2 again?
The
Biggest challenge other than COVID. And I think you addressed that kind of with the technology issue.
The technology issue and stabilizing households. And I think we're going to see more of that coming up in the future.
And the last part was just about your legacy. How would you like to be when, to remembered, I guess is probably the best way to put it.
We have a kind of corny hashtag. It's continuous improvement, building on the best. And I hope that I lay enough blocks and foundation that somebody feels they just have to build from wherever we are. I was blessed to have an excellent legacy prior to me, and all I've had to do is build on the greatness that they established. And I hope to continue in that legacy, so whoever replaces me has that same benefit.
Yeah, it's not going to happen anytime soon. So sorry, that's just. Well, I appreciate it. You are obviously more than welcome to stay on as we kind of go through with our other guests and things like that, but I don't want to take too much of your time, so it's completely up to you. But I wanted to thank you again, everyone. This is Franklin County Treasurer Cheryl Brooks Sullivan for coming on today. Thank you so much for taking the time and speaking with us. With that, I'm going to turn it over to my guest who's here real quick. We talked about Juneteenth.
Yes.
And without going into, you don't have to spoil everything, but why don't you tell us a little bit about what your group is going to be doing at Juneteenth this Saturday?
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor Joe. So again, just giving acknowledgement to Councilwoman Meredith Lawson-Rowe. She and I have long-term relationships and friendships going on. And I think that as we move into positions where we can bring communities together, this is one of those examples with her input and her work for the community. So I am the artistic director for Chisan West African Dance Institute, and we have just celebrated our 21st year last year during COVID. So we have been in the community really presenting and preserving traditional West African dance, music, and culture. We have a number of programs that sit up under the Chisan Institute. And so this Saturday, we will be bringing our youth performers as well as our adult performers, and just really showcasing the richness of African culture through dance, music, and interactions. So we will be in full costumes, and we'll have our live drumming and our musicians with us. And we just wanted to continue to be a catalyst and be an ambassador for the richness of the African culture, the African American culture, and find that similarity through the arts, where respect and appreciation begin for all cultures.
I know I am very much looking forward to Saturday's event in general. And when I did find out a little bit more about your organization, a couple of YouTube videos here and there, then all of a sudden I said, I think you're really in for a treat. So I hope you're able to come out. I know we have the 5K starting us off in the morning, and then I know that the programming functions start around 12. I'm not sure exactly when you're going to be performing.
I think it's around 1
1
p.m.
Yeah, that's what
We'll open with our children's program. Our adults will have great audience participation, and then we'll close out with a nice presentation.
So it's going to be a fabulous time. And again, it's this Saturday. Basically, I'm going to be there bright and early, but everybody else, if you're doing the walk or the run 5K, that'll start around 10 o'clock. They'll do pre-registration on site. The regular performances will start, presentations will start at 12 o'clock. There are going to be food trucks available, so we're looking forward to that. So you can get your health screenings, and then you can go and not be healthy with the food trucks or something like that.
And then work it off.
And then work it out. Yeah, and then absolutely. So we got it all covered all the way across. Well, you're not allowed to leave, so I'm not letting you go anytime soon.
Okay.
But I also wanted to go ahead and welcome in co-president of the Reynoldsburg Chamber of Commerce, Rick Wagner. Rick and I've known each other for a couple of years. He was very helpful when we were going through our CARES Act small business grants. Rick was able to help go through some of the applications where the city ended up giving around $220,000 to local small businesses to help them get through the COVID pandemic. And he is part of kind of to reestablish the Chamber of Commerce here in Reynoldsburg. We have monthly meetings or monthly luncheons at Reynoldsburg United Methodist Church. The first Thursday of every month, correct, Rick?
Yep.
And so it's always a great time there. It's great for networking. It's great to see what the new businesses that are here in Reynoldsburg, to make those connections. And then there's also some educational stuff. We got somebody coming in talking about how to make maximum use of LinkedIn, which is not something that a lot of people, some people use, some people don't, but it was really informative. But thank you, Rick. I just want to kind of go over a couple quick questions for you. First of all, how are things at the Chamber? Anything coming up in the next couple of months that you want to let us know about?
Well, we just, of course, finished our annual golf outing last month, which was one of the most successful golf outings we've had in years. So I want to thank all the sponsors. We had a record amount of sponsors at that golf outing, which was fantastic for the Chamber. We are growing. The Chamber's been growing throughout COVID. And we have the auction, the annual auction, which will be coming up in November. Unfortunately, I was so sad that we had to cancel across the case, just simply because we could not get the amount of restaurants that we wanted to have a successful event. It was the employees that weren't able to staff, and we kept getting the same thing over and over again. So we made the decision, to cancel. It was very sad because we really wanted to do it, but we are looking forward to having it next year back at the senior center and that whole area over there. But the annual, we're putting all of our direction and time and effort into the annual auction, which will be on November 19th. So,
well, if you're a local business, let's say, because we have a number that are out there, and let's say that they're watching because they want to know if they're on code enforcement segment, which they're not, but we'll see. So they're watching. If they wanted to get in contact or become part of the member of the Chamber of Commerce, what are some of the benefits to being a member of the Chamber of Commerce, and how would they go about getting in contact with you?
okay. First, let me just correct something. I said November 19th. That's actually the November 16th. It's a Tuesday. I'm sorry. That's the auction. But yes, as far as becoming a member, they can contact the chamber office, Susan Brusk, is of course our interim executive director. We have a wonderful new marketing piece we just put together. Les Maggi helped us put all that together. So they can call Susan. She can, talk to them through the different the memberships, the costs, and the benefits of becoming a member. They're more than welcome to contact me as well. I've been a member since 1999, so I know the chamber inside and out. And this year, being the president, got to really work really close with the board and continue to put together programs that benefits for the members.
Well, it's a great thing. It helps, and obviously from the city standpoint, a healthy, vibrant chamber of commerce is a benefit.
Yes.
The chamber is a great partner. Sue has come to pretty much, I think she's been at every ribbon cutting that we've had. We've got our super big scissors. We've opened up a lot of businesses in Reynoldsburg over the last year and a half, to the point where I think it's probably somewhat surprising. I think we ended up opening 36 businesses last year, and we're approaching some pretty close numbers up into the high teens and 20s this year already. So again, businesses are coming into Reynoldsburg. They love the aspect of what we're able to do. I've got some great restaurants, some good retail establishments, some athletic training. I mean, it's a little bit of everything coming here. And that Chamber of Commerce element adds to it because it helps, again, promote your businesses and helps you network with other businesses to partner up for some great things.
And I must say, God bless Susan, because she's gotten, I think, most of those to join the chamber. She worked really, really hard connecting with them, and we've had substantial growth with the chamber, new members. It's been fantastic.
Every meeting gets a little bit bigger. Now, I know the meeting, the luncheon that we had the first week of June kicked off our nonprofit organizations. Cheryl Wooten from Heart Food Pantry on last week, and I've had Mary Stutz from the Historical Society on before that. I'm going to have a member of the Reynoldsburg Football Players Association. They're going to be coming in later in the next month or so. So those are always good things. So I think we've got a question for you. Do we have a question? All right. So we got a question for Rick from the chamber.
Okay.
How is the chamber working with its members to help them fill their job vacancies? Maybe connecting them with Reynoldsburg jobs?
Well, I know that Christine Boucher, who is part of Eastland Fairfield Career, that's a possibility, I suppose. And of course, Sue worked with the city a lot. She's very connected with the city and things of that nature. So I would imagine, a call to her or Christine would probably be a good route. If again, they can come to a luncheon if they want to network. That's a good opportunity, I believe. I always try to get all our guests at our luncheons to stand up and give a 30-second, commercial, even if they're a guest. And even if it's just them looking for a job, they're more than welcome to come and mention that as well. So.
Yeah, and I know in the bulletin for the email bulletin, I know just last month they had
Chamber Chatter,
the Chamber Chatter. There you go. We had talked about partnering with Franklin County Job and Family Services, and I know that there was some information there about internships. I actually have an intern. You haven't met him yet, Rick, but you'll meet him soon. It's sitting in our office from the Franklin County Job and Family Services working with us. It's a paid internship, so they're actually paying students from Reynoldsburg City Schools, students between the ages of 16 and 18. So I know that opportunity was out there as well. I know that what we're trying to do in the city is we're in the process of upgrading and redesigning our website, and we hope to have a more robust jobs posting in there. And I think the comment was referred to some Facebook feeds, which are kind of like Reynoldsburg Jobs. It's for people who are interested in posting positions available out there, that type of thing, something more specific to the local area. So that'll be something that we can connect Sue with as well. I know she's not, she's just recently new to Facebook, so maybe that's something that we can connect her with. Okay. Any other questions out there?
No.
All right. Well, Rick, like I said, I do appreciate your time. Do you want to tell me a little bit? I know you're obviously the co-president here of the chamber, but what exactly is your business that you have that is specific to the chamber? Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I'm an insurance broker, been an agent for over 30 years, and been with the chamber since '99 as well. As you probably know, I also have a farm, an llama farm, And I have to say that the Reynoldsburg Chamber actually kicked off what I call Rick the Llama Guy Wagner, because it was nearly 15 years ago when I was asked to take my llamas out to a chamber event. And that was the first time I ever did that, and kind of evolved into a regular type thing where I took them out and did a lot of events. But my career is being in the insurance business, but I do love taking my llamas out and doing community events. I do really enjoy that. So
This is just me to talk about llamas, really. That was where that question was coming from. But I
yes,
appreciate that. You knew that that's the direction that we were going.
and that, you know what? That's okay. If you want to remember me as Rick the Llama Guy Wagner, who sells insurance, I'm good with that. So
Absolutely. Well, again, you're more than welcome to stay for the rest of our
I
show.
will.
We look forward to hopefully some of the businesses that are out there, some of the people that are out there can get in contact with the chamber and sign up for the
Certainly.
newsletter and come out to the luncheons and things like that. So for the two of you, now you get to see a little bit about what's going on in the city of Reynoldsburg. As everybody knows, I'm a big fan of code enforcement. Sometimes it's an uncomfortable thing to deal with, but the reality is we all want our city to be a little bit more safe, a little bit more aesthetically pretty. So I've got a couple of pictures for you. I won't name this business, but you might be able to guess what it is. I'm sure a lot of people are loving it. But if you can kind of see there down at the bottom part of it, a little bit of a yellow out there. So to give you an idea what code enforcement does is we'll go and work with the property owners, and then all of a sudden you can see a little bit more of some simple improvements. It's just some basic maintenance of some of the facilities out in the city that help with that. And it does make an improvement. A lot of people don't always think so, but it really does. We also have, again, another area of town. You can kind of see the concrete wall looking a little faded on the one side there. So we talked about that. There's concerns about safety. And so then all of a sudden you have this. And we all know that this is significantly, looks much better all the way across, brings more of a nice beautification process to the community. And again, something as simple as this, where you've kind of got some of the discoloration and things like that from weather and all of that. And again, just helping out with the overall aesthetics of the community. It's always good to kind of maintain the businesses all the way across. Now, I do want to show you something because this is a big topic that comes up, sidewalks. So we do have a sidewalk program in Reynoldsburg. So if your street's being worked on right now, and there's a number of streets out there that are being worked on, the sidewalks are going to be repaired as well. But there are a couple of things that we do to help residents deal with any kind of sidewalk issues. So this one, when you look at this particular picture here, you can see how some of the sidewalks are uneven. So there are many ways that you can actually address this issue. I'm not going to use the particular terminology, the right terminology for it, but what they can do is you can have someone come out, a contractor, and what they'll do is they'll drill holes into the sidewalk. And then what they'll do is they'll actually fill underneath the sidewalk with a concrete resin to actually even out the sidewalks. So that'll kind of give you an idea of what it's looking like. And so they'll drill in there to try and make them a little bit more even. And then those same sidewalks that we just showed you now are completely even. And these are significantly less costly to the homeowner than actually having to take in individual sections of your sidewalk out. It's also safer. I actually am going on a walk later today with a resident off Retton Road to talk about some of the sidewalks. And one of her concerns were off Retton about the idea that they're uneven and could be a trip hazard, or if a child is riding a bicycle, they hit one of those things the wrong way and it becomes something else. So there are a lot of options out there. This is another example, again, where you have somebody, the Kool-Aid man ran through through this wall here. But again, at this point now, all of a sudden, you get that other fencing part in there. So again, when you're trying to cover out some of the commercial areas and separate those from some of our residentials and things like that, there's also some issues with homeowners as well. So you have some of these homeowners right here that has a little bit of vegetation, a little bit of growth by it. But we worked with them. And then all of a sudden, now they've kind of done some things on their own and gave them that inspiration to kind of redo all of their house. And then voila, they have a new freshly painted house, and they've kind of cut their vegetation back and things like that. Code enforcement is not done for punishment purposes. A lot of it is to actually enhance the value of the property, whether it's your residential house or whether it's your commercial property. And it helps the entire city kind of feel a little bit better about itself. So those are a couple of things that are out there. Now to the bad news, traffic. So we have an issue, obviously, in Reynoldsburg with traffic. The first one that I need to talk to you about is I-70 this Sunday for June 20th from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. Monday morning. The I-70 off-ramp to 256 is actually going to be closed. So that was in our Reynoldsburg Connect. So hopefully you're signed up for Reynoldsburg Connects, our email blast. So this Sunday, June 20th from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m., the 256 off-ramp is going to be closed for some repair work. And then obviously we have Main Street. A lot of people ask questions about when is the work on Main Street going to be done? And the best guess is going to be November. We are just kind of not even ankle deep in the amount of work that's going to be done on Main Street this year. It is going to be very intensive. What's going on right now is Columbia Gas is replacing all of their gas lines on that area of Main Street. So they've got about another 7 weeks to go before they have that section done. And then it's also our turn to do the improvements on Main Street as well with our streetscapes and our expanded sidewalks and things like that, which will be starting in the near future. And then on top of that, we actually have paving of all of Main Street from border to border. For those of you that are out on the Licking County side, your area is almost done. So Franklin County, the Department of Transportation is going to be working on the Franklin County side starting July 27th. Now, there's a little bit of good news with that one. It looks like that work is going to be done at night. We're trying to verify the hours, but it should start sometime around 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. So your regular traffic orientation is probably not going to be impacted as much, but that's what the Department of Transportation is doing for that particular section. So that's something to kind of keep in mind on there. We also have some other things that are going to delay next week. It should be next week. We're waiting to find out all the final permitting. But as you know, one of our local businesses, VIX, is expanding. So we're really excited about that. They're going to have an expanded patio service, but they're going to be taking down the old VIX and the yoga studio right next to it. So that is one of the things that they're going to be doing, and they're just waiting on the final process of permitting to take those buildings down. It looks like it'll be next week, and if it is next week, that means as bad as Lancaster is now, it could get worse, Lancaster and Maine. So keep that in mind. But I do have a little bit of a picture for you. It may look a little different when it's all said and done, but one of the things that we're really working with our sidewalk program in Reynoldsburg and Old Town specifically is to make it more pedestrian friendly, more open to community members to come in and enjoy. And so I'm going to show you a little bit of a sneak preview of what it will look like. So we have an expanded patio function with some extra tables and some chairs all the way around to go in to that area of VIX. And this is ultimately what it's going to look like. If any of you have ever been down to New Orleans, it's almost as if you're walking in the French Quarter and you have that little restaurant that's behind, a nice little French gate, and you walk in and have the patio service right there. So that ultimately is probably what it's going to look like. But as with all things, it's going to take a little while to get there. So I do ask for everybody's continued patience. A year from now, when this part of Lancaster or this part of Main Street is done, things are going to be a lot better. And then we're going to do the other part of Main Street, but we'll talk about that next year. So those are the good things with that. So I know this is exactly why you came on the show. So you could hear about
more about Reynoldsburg.
Hear more about code enforcement and roads.
And I'm saying, wow, you can really tell that you love Reynoldsburg.
I do. I absolutely, it is. And ultimately, when we get to what it looks like at the end is going to be the best. But we have a couple of other events coming up. We have our fireworks on July 2nd, Friday night. It's Civic Park, and the gates are going to open about 6:30 p.m. We're going to have some food trucks. We're going to have live music starting at 7:30, and we're just going to have a great time. Great fireworks show. We're going to have music to the fireworks as well this year for the first time, so we're really enthusiastic about that. Following the next day, bright and early, we have our 4th of July parade. So that'll be kicking off at 10 o'clock on Saturday morning. If you're interested, I think there's still time to register for that parade. Local businesses, so if you want to bring the llamas out, you're more than welcome to. They're not going to charge you for it. The only people the community association charges are those politicians. So make sure you understand, you don't have to worry about getting charged for that one. But it's a great event. I know that they've got a lot of participants. I want to say that the last I heard is up to around 30 participants in the parade so far. And I know the city is going to have a big presence there as well. So we hope you can join us out for that. As we already mentioned, the Juneteenth celebration, the second annual Reynoldsburg Juneteenth celebration with our program is going to be great. Really looking forward to that. The weather looks to be pretty good, especially as we move into the afternoon. So for those of you in the 5K, you'll probably enjoy a little bit of rain as you're running and sweating and all of that. So kind of keep that in mind to join us this weekend so you can see. And how do you pronounce it exactly? Theosin? Chisan. See, yes. That's why I don't. Chisan. So the Chisan West African Dance Group will be there, hopefully performing around 1 o'clock. It's going to be a great time. So I hope to see you there. Tomorrow night, we have our farmer's market, again, from 4 to 7. And I see the pickle, the crazy cucumber is going to be here tomorrow. So I know that's always been a big draw for the crazy cucumber. So they'll be there tomorrow night at the farmer's market. We also have our first concert on the lawn at the Livingston House on Sunday, June 27th from 6:30 to 8 p.m. It's the Reaganomics. And here's my history joke. You know, their music is going to trickle down all over Reynoldsburg. So for those of you that get the Reaganomics thing, yes, I can make that joke. So they'll be here as well. We also have our Thursday night concert on the cul-de-sac. So keep an eye on the Parks and Rec page. I can't remember which court it is this week. But hopefully you can join at the concert in the cul-de-sac. That's a really good thing. So what they do is some local artists and local bands will come in, residents, and they'll just pick a random cul-de-sac and then they'll go and they'll perform. So we did it last year for COVID because you couldn't get larger crowds together. So we kind of like locked it down into a smaller area for everything. So we've got those going all the way through June into July. We don't have anything for development this week, but hopefully very soon, some pretty interesting news is going to be coming our way on that one. Next week, I'm on vacation, so there is no Joe show. Yes, I do take a vacation occasionally, so we are not going to be on next week, but we will be back on June 30th with our very special guest, Chief Jeff Sharps from the Truro Township Fire Department. He's going to come and talk about safety for fireworks. Obviously, we have to be very respectful of the use of fireworks, specifically when it comes to people wanting to shoot off fireworks at 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, and everything else in between. So we want to be respectful of them. So he's going to talk about that. He's going to talk a little bit about what the safety process is for Civic Park. It's much more involved to launch fireworks at Civic Park than you would imagine. So he's going to talk a little bit about that and some other safety issues all the way across. Do we have any questions or anything so far?
We have one question and a comment just to add to the farmers market. If we could let our residents know about the community festival that's going to be highlighting the Nepali community.
There we
It's
go.
going to be at the farmers market. And also is requesting about a posting for the parade route.
Yes. We can, I know the parade route, I don't think it's changed this year, but we will get the parade route out there as soon as possible. I know basically it's going to start around, it starts usually around Rose Hill and then comes down to Davidson or Haft and then cuts around to Davidson the other way as everybody kind of leaves and spreads and flies away at that point in time. But we'll get the parade route out there. But again, if you are interested, please go out to the Community Association webpage, or they have a Facebook page as well, and you can take a look at that and see the exact route, and hopefully you can come out for it. Again, I'd like to thank Franklin County Treasurer Cheryl Brooks Sullivan, Rick Wagner, the co-president of the Reynoldsburg Chamber of Commerce and the Insurance Llama Guy. And Susan, thank you so much for being here. I'm thrilled. I like that we've got this, in-person thing. I'm really looking forward to the show on Saturday. And don't you dare call me up to do any kind of anything. Don't you?
I can't. This
No.
is one-sided.
Yeah, this is just not. For the sake of not insulting all of your dancers, you don't want this.
Okay.
I'm just
All right.
letting you know.
Sure?
I'll be there.
call you up.
I'll be there. Chat. I'll be.
Okay.
I'll be all for it. But outside of
right.
that, no.
That's it. That's
Yeah,
it.
rhythm is not something that I have a lot of. So, everybody else, please stay safe and respectful over the next couple of weeks. Obviously, we've got a lot of great things going on in Reynoldsburg. We had a great litter challenge, which we're just getting all those pictures organized right now to get those out to you for the prizes. So we'll do that when I get back from vacation. Stay safe, stay respectful, and as always, please put away your shopping carts. That's just my thing. So,
If I could add,
please,
Joe,
yes.
We have quite a few residents of Reynoldsburg who are part of our program with Chasson Institute.
Really?
So I just want to personally say to you, hope to see you there on Saturday, and come to Ready to Dance, move about, and just from children to adults, this is a family presentation. So we look forward to having all of you guys there. Thank you.
That's awesome. I'm really looking forward
Great,
to it.
great.
Thanks again, everybody. Have a wonderful week, and we will see you in 2 weeks. Bye now.
Bye-bye.